I'm Paul Sims, and I'm here with
Sam Johnson,
Robert Spina,
and Stephen Root.
And this was the last episode of News Radio ever. Although, when we were writing it, we were trying to write it so that it could operate as the last episode of News Radio ever, or so it could operate as a transition to another season of News Radio, during which
Starring Bob Newhart.
Yes, which would have been the whole show moved to New Hampshire for some reason.
Bam. Just right through there.
What's happening now?
You know, you're all just gonna have to trust.
Mr. James is missing in action. There he is.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Because they did his retirement party in the previous episodes, right?
Is that true?
Did
what
he
was
not?
the second to last episode?
Wasn't it retirement part 2 or something?
It might have been.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't remember, and I don't remember if...
Because they had the roast.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Oh, right.
I don't remember if I wrote this or if... Well, basically we all wrote them, like we all wrote them, but I don't know if it has my name on it or me and Josh and Joe, or I guess we're going to find out momentarily. Sam, your memories?
Drawing a blank here. Vicky didn't always wear those glasses.
No, that's true.
I think she
That was going to become a regular thing in season 6.
Yeah.
Vicky and glasses.
Lots of
John Lennon.
Vicky wearing glasses.
Oh, but she's got the long time. Now, I think that was something we talk about her crazy outfits, but the only Emmy nomination that the show got.
That's right.
was
The only Emmy award it won was for wardrobe. That's
wardrobe.
True.
Why wouldn't I? I mean, I got cricket stuff.
Oh, I think I still have that tie, that kind of green tie.
Yeah, I have, when Phil died,
Yes.
Llewellyn, the wardrobe woman, gave all the writers and probably all the actors
pillow.
as well. Oh, well, we all got ties.
We got pillows.
Oh, really?
We got pillows made out of Phil's old shirts.
That's
all the different
fantastic.
shirts he wore on the
Fantastic,
show.
yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
still
really
have
cool.
one.
I still have my tie. I used to wear it for good luck, but then I stopped having good luck. So
Had to have been the tie.
Yeah, no, it was very sweet. I still got it.
So you're
Hey, look. How can you not
Serving
remember? You're a
Chris.
co-executive producer.
I
How
know.
come you couldn't remember
I had
anything?
so much on my mind at the time. We're editing shows 2 episodes ago, thinking about the new season, actually trying to find another job.
I remember everybody being exhausted after the roast episode that we did.
That was the low point in the season, really. Everybody was so tired and unhappy at that point.
have no one to share it with.
And that coming into this episode, there was a lightness to it all because we
At
kind of
least we'd have a
passed
break
through that
even
storm.
with- we'd have a break even if we weren't going on.
And I saw that from those credits that me and Josh and you and Chris wrote this episode.
I
Apparently.
remember, right, the 4 of us just really banging it out in a room.
That's more or less how it happened, isn't it? I don't know. I remember we would always have to split up those credits like that because you couldn't have you couldn't say it was written by 4 people.
Right.
Even if it
we
was.
had a problem because we had a couple of episodes that were written that we had everybody's name on and
Yeah,
had to.
and that caused some kind of problem.
we had to pay a fine, I think.
Lovers, that's a T-shirt slogan.
I remember the thing I remember about, especially thinking about this last season, was when I was watching, because I've got some of the tapes of them, so I watched a lot of the last season, and the greatest story arc I think in the whole show was Dave's. Dave comes in as this fresh-faced kid, just burst in, and by the end of the show, he's a dour, mean old man, and it's great. It's the greatest arc ever. And
That is true, and it was completely sort of unconscious on our
Completely
parts.
unconscious,
But it was predicted when we did the award show when the guy across the street, Steve Gilborn, came
right.
across and said, "This is what's going to happen to you, Dave."
Yeah, you're going to turn
And it
into
did.
a bitter, cynical.
and he
that Marty
just-
the Party.
Yeah.
That's right, Marty the
Marty
Party.
Jackson.
Marty
Marty
Jackson.
the Party Jackson.
But he was beaten down to death by the end of the show. It was great.
But are they welcomed? There is a difference.
Yeah, I know. Look, I'd be willing to offer you a promotion,
To what?
reporter.
Tempting. Very tempting.
Matthew,
Yeah.
that's actually what your job is now.
Is it?
Yeah.
I do remember that being
Yes.
exhausted during this last episode, just feeling
You know, I remember having
emotionally exhausted.
I remember having that feeling at the end of every season, but unlike this episode, the other 2 seasons we ended with those silly fantasy episodes, which somehow just seemed like fun. So it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I remember there being when, as the word got out that we were going to move the show and all of that, there was kind of an infectious thing going on where people were starting to feel good and could see the possibilities.
There would be something new,
Something different. Yeah.
something new and different.
Yeah.
Well, the silly little puppet that amuses me.
Although I felt like at the end of this one, there's no way we're coming back.
Yeah, I did too.
I sort of did too, but I was hoping against hope. And as someone reminded me yesterday, this was the one season where the people at the network were going like, no, believe it or not, you guys are looking really good for another season. Every time before that had been like, I don't know,
There's
it's
no
not going to
chance,
happen.
really.
This time they were like, no, we're getting a lot of our new pilots in and they're not looking so good. And so blah, blah, blah. But no.
Volunteer fire department.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they call the Virginia real?
Sure they
No, we were replaced by what's his name, and it was one show literally, and it was off the air.
Well, what was it?
He was subsequently on a show that lasted for a long time, and I can't remember his name. Another comedian. Robert, do you know who I'm
Robert,
talking
you've
about?
got to remember.
Mike, yeah, Mike.
Michael
Mike O'Malley, right?
Yeah.
And his show lasted one show, and then he got on that other show. That's
Right. That was where he wrote the famous manifesto.
I don't. Oh, his about. I do remember that. Where did I read that?
It was like a Harper's reading or something. It was leaked. It was something about how, this is not just some comedy. This is a great piece of work that we're creating, and we should all be on board together. And it was one episode
show.
out.
Wow, I should have written a manifesto at the beginning of NewsRadio, and so
We
we
do
could have
share some similarities with the Unabomber, so
we could have all been on the same page.
yeah. I think I might have said this before, but I remember Drake say there, like when we first started, Chris and I first started, and it was like our first all-nighter, and Drake said, first thing they do when you join a cult is they keep you from sleeping.
That's right. Try to just keep you off your feet.
Yeah, that was about the same as a manifesto. It's like you will live the news radio way.
For myself as a
David Pan in USC asks, would you have had Lisa end up with Dave at the end of the series? And that goes back to that recurring dream that I still have once a month. I suppose I would have.
they have serious stuff like when those guys go.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
But it was great that.
But she's still married to Johnny Johnson at this point, right? In the show, I think she is.
Yeah,
Oh, I would have.
she's still visiting him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I would have gotten rid of that and had her end up with Dave. I don't know if that, it's funny though. I don't think at that point, would it, even to a regular faithful viewer, would that have been satisfying somehow that Dave and Lisa ended up together? Was anyone really hoping for it or hoping against it?
You know what? Here's the thing: is like what I really liked at the beginning of NewsRadio is they got together right away. We weren't gonna
Stretch it out.
Yeah, they got together, and that was a thing. Because I remember my job immediately after this was working at Frasier, and it was then their 7th season. So it had already been on for a long time. And I remember the first week the question was, well, should we get Daphne and Niles together? And one of the creators said, I don't know, we'd really be killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. But I felt like, why are we waiting around? You should just let's do it. Like use up our ideas. Just take. And I feel like that was the approach at NewsRadio always. First thing is the best thing. Just do it. Just do it and
see what happens.
Yeah.
And then try to figure out the rest of the season.
And try to figure
That's what happened.
Try to figure out the second act.
Of Mr. James. He's
I do know that people at the network and other people felt like that's what, we should have extended it, and that's what was missing from the show was a romantic will they, won't they thing. But I don't know. I don't know if I enjoy that in shows that in other shows. I mean, yeah, I liked it on Cheers, I guess, but
that was the 80s.
Yeah, but
and it's been done already.
Yeah, at the same time, I thought, well, they did that on Cheers, and so
here. I just thought of this. This is what you should include on this package is the where we all had the reunion at the right after the show at the.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Was the Writers Guild or
Yeah.
something
The
like
Museum
that?
of Television.
Museum of Television.
Museum of
That's what
Television.
you should put on this
That's
DVD.
right.
That would be
The
fantastic.
panel-
I'd love to
That's
see
right.
that.
And that was a very odd night all by itself.
Yeah.
Everyone was up on stage at the Museum of Television, and we did not know our fate at that point.
That we didn't
Right.
know our fate.
And Josh got really mad.
And Josh Josh and Lovitz who are working together now and like each other, were bickering with each other, and I thought it was all funny, and it wasn't until afterwards that 2 or 3 people said to me like, "Ooh, that was really brutal."
Uncomfortable.
and it was not. I mean, I've been to some of those, and they've been very upbeat, positive things. But there was a lot of tension that night, and a lot of uncertainty about what was going to happen to the show, and people's nerves were kind of raw that night. And I would love to go back and see that tape.
I'm telling you, that would be a great thing to have on this thing.
And if we can't get it on this thing, go to the Museum of
Television
Television
and watch it.
Broadcast.
It's really
And
entertaining.
they'll give you the tape, and you can sit there with some headphones on and watch us all apparently fighting with each other.
Yeah.
It was mostly Josh being mad at whoever asked him a question.
No, I think it was Josh and Lovitz were bickering. But at the same time,
Andy was complaining too about something. I remember him. He just kept saying something about getting the into the stick over and over. He
No,
said
my
maybe-
favorite line came from that thing. Somebody asked Andy, so how would you describe your character? And he took a long beat and said, retarded fag.
That's right.
That's the greatest line ever.
I remember hearing a lot more just honesty from the cast. I mean, things that you would not expect people to say in a public forum.
That's true. I do.
But we always did that.
I do remember one regret I
did.
had about that is that a lot of time during the season I was too distracted, spending a year for some stupid reason trying to do this one other pilot. But so some of the episodes I hadn't seen all the way through, and when I got up to introduce the episodes, I said, "Oh, I haven't seen this. Some of this one you're about to see, I haven't even seen all the way through." And then later, I felt bad, like I was trying to distance myself from it, or like people would think I was saying like, "Don't blame me if you don't like it." But
No, I don't think
it
anybody
was an
felt that
episode. Okay, good. So I can. That's another thing I can stop having recurring
You don't have to worry
dreams
about that anymore.
anymore.
Nobody thought that, or even now they do. But not then.
Anybody else have recurring dreams or nightmares about the show? Is it just me?
I would, but they keep moving the time slot.
You never know.
What else is happening here in this episode?
Wait, Dave, can I talk to you for a moment?
I have no idea.
Well, Mr. James originally was going to take one person with him to New Hampshire,
right.
and that person, of course, was going to be Matthew. And then one by one, he convinces the rest of the staff to come along until Dave is the only holdout.
Right.
And I think he seduces Maura with the idea that she'll get to do political reporting because it's New Hampshire, and
Primaries.
and he gets Vicky because there's cute cops in New Hampshire.
Oh, that's right. I remember that line. Yeah.
That was a great news radio structure that I have tried to use since then a few times, of a script where you have one task and then you just keep going to each different character. Like there was one where Dave has to write a eulogy, or he's going back to his high school to give a speech, and he gets suggestions from every other person, everybody else he works with. That's the show.
It does make it easier to structure, because
it's a great
there's the idea.
structure.
We got all the characters.
We're just going to have
this
5
scene,
different opinions on how to do it,
this
on what
scene,
to do.
this scene, and that scene.
And this is one of my favorites. This is when Vicky pretends to be angry at Dave so that she can quit.
Right. That's right. She's really funny.
Let us be clear here. Am I no longer needed?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You son.
Why is Dave smoking a cigar?
Is it National Have Your Secretary Institutionalized Day?
Ah, sarcasm. The last refuge of sons of bitches.
What is this about?
That
I'll
is
tell you
good.
what this is about, Dave. This is about me spending 5 years of my life fetching.
This
coffee for a
episode
It's
seems
about
Angry?
yeah. No, I like it. Seems very bright, and color-wise, it seems very bright. I don't know if that's interesting to anyone watching this, but then again, who knows if anyone
Well,
is
you know what?
watching it.
It's funny because when I, like the first week I worked at Frasier, David Hyde Pierce came into the writers' room, and like the showrunner was introducing the new writers, and he said, "Oh, well, Chris and Sam here, they worked at NewsRadio, and David Hyde Pierce said, "Oh, we have the same palette." And it took me like a long time to, what, the same? And then I realized that it's sort of true. Like the lighting is very similar. The
a lot
colors,
of wood in the background.
a lot of wood.
David's funny.
And that's what made it all work out there for you.
That's right. We came from the same palette.
Maybe that's
comfortable.
Maybe that's how you were hired there.
Maybe.
See, and look, another train. Even the last
I know.
last show of the season, she had a train.
The last train.
Yeah.
Oh, look! Here's a whole page of questions about the
The last
excuse
show.
me, about the last
There
show.
you go.
But we've talked about them already.
Yeah, done that one.
I'm still looking. Yeah.
Was
Yes.
Dave dressed in like suits that were too big for him early on? Because he seems to like
well,
like a
Andy,
smaller.
he had no shoulders.
Right.
He's Canadian.
Right. He just seemed like he did seem like there were many great jokes, in fact, early on about how he really just looks like a little boy.
Yeah.
And I just saw an episode recently on, whatever.
Nick at Night.
Where he like it's when all the kids come into the office and they're all and all the women in the office are in Dave's office with these little girls, and one of the little girls says, "Is that a little boy who works in this office coming back again?"
It's true. He did. It does seem. See, when I see everyone now, they look the way they do now. When I see those first two seasons, they look like weird miniature.
They do. Yeah, they
much
just look
younger
like
versions
young
of themselves.
children.
Oh, Stephen, you always look the same through the whole thing. I think to me,
Pretty much.
Rogan also always looked the same.
Yeah.
My whole life. Never? I took the ferry once to Staten Island. Does that count?
No.
Never. I figure I was.
Robert, you always got good thoughts. Help me out.
We could talk about how protective Joe was about his hair for the entire show. If you got anywhere near his hair, within 4 inches of his hair, he would have your hand behind you and be choking you.
I wonder why that is, because that is his real hair. He's not wearing. He's not wearing
but he
a thing.
protected it very, very assiduously.
Huh.
He didn't want you to touch it. He didn't want anything near it.
I got a question.
Yes.
Are you going to miss this?
Doing the commentary.
The NewsRadio experience.
Oh,
this is arguably the last moment of the NewsRadio experience. How do you feel?
I've
a good question.
missed it for years. Doing the commentary is hard because, as everyone who's been listening to these knows, we ran out of things to talk about. But no, I miss doing the show every day. I mean, obviously you forget the times where you were exhausted or where you were tired out or felt like you'd run out of ideas, but I miss it all the time. It's the most fun I've had working anywhere, including the shows I worked at previously and anything I've worked at subsequently.
It was special.
I
It
do.
really was.
I do suspect, if by some weird fluke, if this had been a show like Cheers or Everybody Loves Raymond that had gone on for 10 years, I don't think we would have kept working the same way I was the staying up all night and doing all that. I don't think, but it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Well, towards the end of this season, Josh Lee was running the show, and he sort of fell behind a little bit, and he had this talking to from Brillstein Gray, and they were concerned that he wasn't on top of things. And I remember him, that he was just letting things get out of control, and we were staying up all night too much, and we were too far behind. And I remember him saying to us, it's like, I was raised in this house where my dad was a heavy smoker, and now suddenly they're asking me not to smoke. I thought that was just part of how you run a show.
That's how you did it.
Yeah.
Also, technically, he could have been talking about
He
smoking.
could have been talking about smoking. There was so much smoking.
I remember getting to the final. It's pretty close to the final. This is the final scene. Getting to the final scene and having a hard time of getting words out because I was thinking about it being the final scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Those mugs have a photograph that I took of the cast down in the subway, laying on the steps, like.
Oh, that's right.
I still have that. I still have one.
I don't have one of those, but I'm going to look on eBay tonight,
I have
Robert,
so
and
much
see if I can find you selling it.
WNYX swag. Oh, yeah.
Well, this is look, everyone's leaving.
We're gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Dave still refuses to believe we're going anywhere.
I swear to God, this is so much like the recurring dream/nightmare that I keep having. I'm still thinking right now, like, what could I write in the last 2 minutes here to make sure that everyone knows that all the characters had happy rest of their lives?
Write it and post it on the internet.
How much does that pay?
Oh, well, that.
No, actually, though. No, I guess I could do a good feeling because they're all going to New Hampshire and they're going to live in the countryside and it's going to be fun.
And Dave would have come along eventually.
Yeah, that was
He'd have
always
come
the plan.
around.
Dave and actually, I think yeah. there
Andy
it
would
is.
have died though.
Yeah, maybe.
He probably would have. Well,
This
now
is like- they've left and they've taken all their stuff with them.
They took the extras with them.
Yeah. Nobody works at the station anymore.
Jimmy took
all
them
those
all.
extras are living in a barn in New Hampshire.
That's a great face. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look how cute he is. It's beautiful. Just he's down. He's at the end of his life.
It was the perfect news radio ending.
You thought I was gonna abandon you in your dreams, buddy.
Yeah, in my dreams.
So what do you want me to do? We gotta get cracking. You want me to do some electrical work, do some reporting, read the news, get you some coffee?
Well, you take your pick, okay?
I'm gonna get you some coffee. Great. How do you take it?
Hot and black.
How about cold with little things floating?
Great.
It's me and you, pal. Me and you forever.
Good times.
I know.
very sad.
Say goodnight, Paul.
That's it. Good night. Where's oh, they didn't bring the tag. Well, if you find the footage later, now we should be looking at Jimmy in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, outside. Shot on the.
Or maybe that was in
Universal
a
Live.
show before. I don't know. It was in one of the shows. I have it on a tape somewhere.
I'm pretty sure it's this one, isn't it?
Is it?
That's all. Thank you for watching.
News Radio.